what's going on, guys? It's a boy Liswamutu with you. Welcome on my YouTube channel. So on today's video we are actually going to be speaking about the story of Siddhartha. So this is something that I actually learned while reading this book. So I noticed that this is actually a book that I need to read into, but while reading this book, The Tools of the Titans by Tim Ferriss, I actually came across one person named Siddhartha, and then afterwards I was like, okay, I like the first section that they actually did speak about him. Let me go out there and learn what's actually being said, what happened and stuff. So I've got a short summary which I was able to summarize, and I believe that today is a day whereby I can share as much knowledge as possible, not about the markets, not about anything, but about just Siddhartha, because this is something that you are literally gonna take, apply, and see a lot of greatness in your life. So let's start first with it. Who actually is Siddhartha? So one thing that I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna be reading down all these notes that I've been able to put down here, because I believe these are valuable notes and I don't want to miss any single thing. And on top of that, I want to just come up and then share with you guys what is my take on this. So Siddhartha is actually the son of a priest, and his name means achieving meaning. So that's what his name means, Siddhartha. He realizes that practicing rituals and prayers from his father's teachings is not able to find his true meaning. So after he's been through rituals and doing all these things from his father, he was still not being able to find his true meaning. So afterwards, Siddhartha noticed that he actually needed a stronger and a better purpose. So he met up with his friend named Govinda, and they went out there in the forest to go search or learn about the true meaning of life, or to search for meaning. While searching for meaning in the forest, they were able to meet up or bump into what you call the Sramanas, or the ascets, that's what they call them, which is people that actually do live in the forest. So these people deny themselves the form of comfort while exposing themselves to pain. So they deny themselves the form of comfort, meaning that things such as shelter, things such as clothes, things such as food, they deny themselves that while exposing themselves to pain. Okay guys, so I actually had to go get a marker because I was keeping track of everything that was going down here. So this is the information that we already did speak about and we got here. So like I did say, while they're exposing themselves to pain, so these are the ascets, they expose themselves to pain, physical pain and all those things. So through suffering, they reach their goals. They focus on meditation, on spiritual development, and become one of the objects and animals. So meaning these people are the types of people that actually just focuses more on meditation, spiritual development, and they become one with objects such as the rock, trees, animals, you understand? So these are the ascets. After years, they realize that it is still not their true meaning in life, and after they have heard of a new teacher nearby named Gautama, which is also popularly named Buddha. While after they've learned or knew about Buddha, they went out there and then also got some information. They wanted to get his teachings. So what happened is that him and Govinda learned from Buddha till Siddhartha decides that he wants to learn from his own. He leaves behind Govinda and finds his own way into town. So he decides that, okay, now I don't want to learn from Buddha or the ascets. I want to now learn things on my own. He goes out there and then starts to go into town. So as soon as he got to town, one thing that I like is that Siddhartha meets a beautiful woman named Kamal. So with Kamal, he is actually attracted to her, but she instead wants a wealthy man. So she says that, okay, no, I don't want you. I want a wealthy man. You haven't got money. What do you have? So Siddhartha, obviously he knows nothing of business, and his dream lady basically wants a wealthy man. He decides that he also wants to become wealthy. So he goes out there and then he meets up with a local merchant, someone that sells locally. The local merchant asks Siddhartha, what skills do you have? What skills can you bring on the table? He responds with, I can think, I can wait, and I can fast. Now the merchant asks him, what value does that have? Is that all? What value does it have? He responds with, it is of great value, sir. If a man has nothing to eat, fasting is the most intelligent thing he can do. If, for instance, he had not learned to fast, that means that hunger would have been his drive, which now he can wait, which is something that is good. He is patient and not in need. That's something that I actually love and took from Siddhartha at this moment. So what he says is that, if a man is can fast, then that means that hunger can be a drive. You can't do certain things because of hunger. Because let's say now you are hungry, you can go out there and then you can start stealing, you can start begging for jobs, you can start doing things that are not within your values. Because of why? Because hunger is the one thing that pushes you. He also said that he can wait, meaning that he's patient enough to play the long game. He's patient enough to play the long-term game, which is something that I love, something that I actually do value from this man over here. So moving over to a decade later, he gains a lot of wealth. Obviously, he's learned, he's done everything. The merchant helped him. He gains a lot of wealth and wins over Kamala, which is the dream lady that he's been working towards. which she later gives him a son. However, Siddhartha loses his passion to find meaning and he gets involved in gambling, possessions, and women. He realizes that he got a lot of distractions from his original path, and he gives all his possessions away. He leaves the city and head to the forest, or head for the forest. So after a decade, guys, he's out there, he learned, now he's been able to just gather, like, all this riches, this wealth, this beautiful lady that he's been looking for. But along the way, he started drinking alcohol, he started like enjoying, he started being in possession of a lot of things, which now came into his spirit being. So with that being said, afterwards he got distracted from his original path. Remember, his name means that he's actually achieving meaning, but now he lost meaning because of all the possessions that he had. And then he realizes that, okay, no, this is not me, I still need to go out there and find my meaning. He gave everything away, and then he left. He just left the city. So on the way, after he left the city, actually just headed for the river, and then he met a ferryman named Vasudeva, who seemed to have found peace and enlightenment on the river. So this person has seemed to have found peace and enlightenment on the river. He stays with him for years till Vasudeva leaves. He is later visited by his old friend Govinda, who is still in search for meaning. So remember, Govinda is the same one that Siddhartha left years ago when he left with Buddha, and then he actually went into town to go search for his meaning. But now years later, Govinda came back, and then he found him sitting in. He's like, hey master, I've heard that there's this person that has found his true meaning, peace and stuff. Please help me out. Only to realize that it's his whole old friend Govinda, and Govinda just realized that it's his old friend Siddhartha. And then afterwards, Siddhartha, one thing that I love about this, which is one of the most takeaways that you can take while watching this video, is that Siddhartha responds to Govinda: wisdom, which a wise man always tries to pass on to someone else, always sound like foolishness. So wisdom that always a wise man tries to pass on to someone else, it sounds like foolishness. Why is that being said? Because you can teach knowledge, but you cannot teach wisdom. That is the response from Siddhartha, which he has spent so many years out there getting information, gathering his wisdom. And then he just mentioned that you can actually teach knowledge, things that you know, things, the skills and all that, you can teach them, you understand? But wisdom he can't teach, because why? It took him all these years for him to be able to go through each and every single thing that he's been through in order to become more wise and to become who he is on this day. And he can't pass it on to someone else, you understand? Knowledge, yes, it's something that he can tell Govinda that you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, but he can't really let Govinda walk into his shoes and gather the wisdom that he really has. So after years of studying the river, he realizes that timeless of the universe. He realizes the timeless of the universe. All things and all people are connected. There is no past, no future, because time is actually man-made. That's something that he realizes after being all these years on the river. The only time we have is present, as it represents the gift of life. Remember, when you're giving someone something, when you're giving someone a gift, what is it? That's a present, you understand? So present represents a lot of things. It represents the gift of life. That is the only time that we have, which is the present time. How one thing that I like is that I was able to just divide this and then break it down into 3 different types of sections. So I understand that maybe you didn't get specific parts. I think it's very important of you to go back and listen to some of the things that I did say, and then now breaking it down to these sections, maybe you'd be able to see. So at first, Siddhartha was a person that actually seeked to find meaning via the mind. So he went out to Buddha, he went out to also the ascets there, so trying to just find meaning via the mind. It didn't work out, so he went out to the city now to find meaning. And as soon as he got a beautiful lady that he saw, he wanted to find meaning via love. So he tried to find meaning via love. He went out there, done all these things, but that actually made him acquire a lot, because he acquired wealth, he had a lot of friends, he had a lot of alcohol, a lot of this, he had a lot of things, and at the end he possessed a lot, which he didn't still find meaning of life, you understand? So he just had to leave each and everything and then go back out there in the river. So at the river, that's where he was actually able to find the true meaning of life. Because at the end, being at the river and then being able to listen to the river, being present, is the best gift that he was able to get. Until this day, Siddhartha actually does his teachings, his words, everything that he's been through, his teachings that we actually do get to live, his teachings that we actually do get to see. Most people, they are trying to just find themselves via other things. Like maybe someone will be like, once I get a Rolex, I'll find my meaning of life, or once I get this car, I'll get a meaning of life. And normally it's not that way. Once you start focusing more on getting peace of mind, getting passions, moving towards a specific direction, then a lot of things are actually going to be attracted to you, just like being attracted to your goal. A lot of things will just automatically be attracted to you. And one of the conclusions that I want us to touch, Siddhartha did say something that is very important at first. He mentioned that I can think, I can eat, and I can fast. Meaning that when he says I can think, is that he can be able to make the right decisions. He can be able to think and make the right decisions for someone else and also for himself. When he says that I can fast, it means that he can be able to live a very long time without, like, food, without being able to just suffer and go all these things, because he's been through that. You understand? He can instead just use that as a positive moment and then learn from it and then control his fuller self, his self and his inner self. Ne? And at the end, he said, I can wait. Meaning that Siddharth can actually play the long-term game. He can actually wait for something to play out. So if, let's say, he's working towards a specific goal, he can't just sit and wait and fast towards that, and then that actually is going to be attracted to him because he's doing nothing. He's just waiting and relaxing. So that's something that I learned from just reading this, and I'm super inspired. I'm super excited. I hope that someone out there is actually going to get some valuable information from this. Obviously, it's not meant for everyone, because most of us just want wisdom to be passed on. But you don't know that as much as I can try to share these things with you, I've got my own wisdom. This is knowledge that I'm sharing with you. You can back yourself up with knowledge, but my wisdom can't be passed on to you, because at the same time, we haven't been through the same situations. Maybe you didn't live in the same situations that I've been in. Maybe you've never slept in this. Maybe you've never even had to go through a time frame where you were hungry, there was no electricity and stuff. But I've been through that, so I know how my wisdom is being carried over. I know some of the things that I appreciate now. I know all those things that now make me excited. The most important thing that I focus more on is peace and being able to just attract my goals towards me. So by this one, I hope you love this video. Go out there, search for, get as much knowledge as possible, grow your mind and become a better person. I'll see you in the next YouTube video.